This week on Music Worth Buying, we're going to be listening to music from Damon Albarn's Everyday Robots.
And Kirsty MacColl, All I Ever Wanted.
Hello and welcome to Music Worth Buying. My name is Robert Kinsler and I'm a music writer and a musician.
My name's TJR. I'm a musician and a music writer.
And listen, I'm going to be kicking things off with Damon Albarn's Everyday Robots. Now, although this is the first solo album credited to Damon Albarn, he's actually been around for a while. Not only is he well known as the lead singer of Blur, but he was also the mastermind behind Gorillaz and has had considerable success with both those artists. The musical landscape on Everyday Robots is vast, but it's very, very different from Blur and Gorillaz. This music is very quiet, mostly introspective. The first song, Lonely Press Play, conjures up like the 21st century. The whole album kind of it just makes you kind of almost go into a dream state, if that's maybe the way to say it. And whether he's taking you to an African village, whether, you know, whatever's happening, whether you're like on a seashore looking out at the ocean, whatever's happening, there's still this kind of melancholy spirit to it, and you need look no further than Hostels to kind of get in that mood. So let's listen a little bit of Hostels.
Cool.
It'll be a silent day I share with you, fighting off the hostiles with whom we collude.
Okay, first listen, I like that. Have no idea what he was talking about, but I liked it. But I have a feeling it's the type of thing that's open to interpretation, and we're going to talk about the packaging in a moment. And the lyrics definitely, or the way I should say, the way what lyrics have been printed, allude to that. But I'll let you go on from there.
Yeah, you know, and Hostels off Everyday Robots. I don't think the lyrics are here, so I did.
Part of them are there.
Part of the lyrics are there. I mean, they're hit and miss, and I know we're going to go talk about. But a lot of it looks like it's his original. Like some of his original notes, or it looks almost like they were typed in, unless that's just a look of the printout from the computer, not sure. And then there's some of his drawings, or there's art. It's very interesting, and it very much fits, like I said, the kind of wistful, melancholy feel of this music and of these recordings. And like I said, Blur is known for some of their big recordings. Everybody in the United States knows song number 2, that, you know, that huge kind of neo-grunge dramatic song. That is not this record. This is very quiet. Some of it's done, it sounds like, with him, or some, you know, sequencing and programming, acoustic guitars. Very quiet and very beautiful. What I get out of the song, but I could be dead wrong, is it's almost like trying to make a connection with somebody else, but you have to do that despite like the cell phones and the smart devices, all the things that kind of get in the way from two people really relating to each other. And I get that a lot of this album. You know, I know Damon's been compared to Ray Davies of the Kinks, but this is obviously a different time, so he's been placed in a different landscape per se, and I think the CD captures that.
That could be a very good interpretation of what the lyrics are about. I remember you did show them to me, and I looked at them, and I was like, okay. Yeah. But that could be a very good interpretation, and I like it myself personally. Yeah. And the next time I listen to it, I just might adopt that interpretation.
Yeah. But and speaking of the CD, you know, at least the version I have is it just comes in a standard jewel case, very nice. And like we were talking a little bit, I love the cover because I think it really captures kind of what's happening in music. It's kind of like, you know, there's times that it's celebratory, and the next song we're going to be hearing, I think is going to be a little bit more in line with that. But there is kind of a sense of like the more people there are around us, the more way we're connected to people via these devices or instant messaging and stuff. Yeah. In a way, we're almost separated further from each other. You know, it's like, you know, like you and I are trying to talk, all of a sudden the phone rings, or we get a message, or, you know, something, you know, you're bombarded by a message or something. You know, it's like it's hard for two people to just get the space, and so you can see here he's alone, and here he's written in some notes, and there's, like I said, some of them are typed, and there's some kind of little artful drawings throughout. You can see like that. So it's just a very interesting package, and I think it fits Everyday Robots very, very well.
It's certainly not typical.
Yeah. But the next song is very, very different. It's probably one of a couple songs that are definitely more upbeat. It's not a big song in the sense of Blur, but it has a really nice tone, and it's called Mr. Tembo. And let's listen to a little bit of that one and then talk about it.
Mr. Tambo's on his way up the hill with only this song to tell you how he feels. But to get there, he will need a helping hand. It's where he is now, but it wasn't what he planned. It's where he is now, but it wasn't what he planned.
And that is Mr. Tembo, which is a story about a little orphaned elephant that actually I guess Damon met when he was in Tanzania.
Oh, okay.
And I encourage everybody to see the official video. It's pretty much everywhere on YouTube, and it has a lot of great shots of the little elephant. Has Damon recording with a choir, and it's just it is. Like I said, there's two sides. This is a very uplifting song on its, it kind of has a celebratory, kind of African, sound. But then also it's kind of tragic because you think about this small orphaned elephant, and it's uncertain what his fate's going to be in Tanzania, especially as he gets older. Yeah. So, like I said, almost the whole album, even though there's things that are very, very beautiful on it, on the surface, there's still an undercurrent of sadness and loneliness, and maybe that ties in with the whole title, Everyday Robots. It's kind of like, we are kind of detached. We don't, But there's a lot of things. It took me a while to bring the album to the show because I kept listening to it, trying to go, okay, what am I missing about? What am I getting about it? And it's one of my favorite albums of 2014. I'm pretty sure it's going to be on my top 10 list, but I'm still absorbing it. I think it's a remarkable album.
I like what I've heard, and that song does have this kind of almost like has a very children's song quality to it. It feels like a children's song. But there are some other things behind it as well. So good choice. And
now what did you bring?
Well, I've got you talked about there is sometimes some underlying sadness, and there is underlying sadness to the album that I'm bringing here, although there is some celebration as well. And this is an anthology album. Kirsty MacColl, All I Ever Wanted, and this is a 2-CD anthology that's been released just recently this last year. And I first came across Kirsty MacColl's music because the title of one of her albums caught my eye, and it made me laugh. The title was Electric Landlady, and I saw that title, I laughed, thought, Electric Landlady, I got to hear what this album sounds like, because I'm thinking of the Jimi Hendrix album, Electric Ladyland. And I played the album, and I was struck by just how fresh and original the music sounded. And also, and even the production, how fresh it all sounds, even now, even though these albums have been around for a while. And the tragic thing, the sad thing, is then I found out, I didn't know this at the time I was listening to the album, thinking, this is really fun music, I really like this, I want to find out more about her. I found out that many years back she was tragically killed in Mexico. And so this is an anthology celebrating her life and her music on 2 CDs. And so we'll talk about some of this in a minute, but first let's just play a song. This is the title track, All I Ever Wanted.
I'm nearly sober, and I can see the truth. I'm not immune to the sorrow that you put me through. Oh, all I ever wanted was a little more respect from you.
That is fantastic. I felt like getting up and dancing right here in the studio.
Oh, cool.
I mean, that's cool. Great. It kind of has, and I know I said it has that kind of sound, kind of like some of the early Bangles recordings, rock pile, that early great power pop that you think of from late 70s, early 80s, but right away, great voice and just a great song.
This track, great voice, great song, and this track is very Britpop sounding, and there is this, her music, I've had to describe it, it's very pop sounding. But she does. We're not going to get to hear much of that because we only can play with 2 tracks, and in only 30 seconds. But when you listen to this collection, You're going to hear her music jump around on genres, very playful, and I say the word playfully jump around through genres, from swing to jazz to Latin to country, traditional Irish music, 50s rock and roll.
Wow.
And she just playfully jumps around from song to song, very easily, very effortlessly, mixing these genres with her own pop sensibilities, you know. And now, packaging-wise, this has been done up very, very nicely here as a 6-panel digipack here. And I'll go ahead and show you the back here real quick. There is an amazingly well-put-together book in this one here. An amazingly well-put-together book. It's very thick. It contains tons and tons of photographs and information, essays, historical, autobiographical information. Quite a bit is in this book. It's extremely well put together. You know, the sad thing is that she was vacationing in Mexico with her family, and she was in what was supposed to be a swimming area only, out in the beach, out of the beach. No boats were supposed to be allowed.
Right.
A speedboat came in where it was not supposed to be. Her son was in the path of it. She pushed her son down beneath to avoid it, but she got hit head on and was killed instantly.
Wow.
And to add more to how devastating that was, the owner of the boat ended up being one of the richest men in Mexico, and one of his employees took the fall, from what I understand, for, I guess, piloting the boat. There were very minimal. There was a very minimal sentence that had to be filled, and a fine of what ended up to being like not much more than $50
Wow.
to $100. Something So it was a travesty of justice.
Yeah.
It was a real travesty of justice, and it was just so tragic to lose someone like this. I would say that she's probably much more popular in Europe than here in America. Here in America,
Damon too. Same thing with Damon.
Her music's probably her best well-known song is a song that was remade by Tracy Ullman. They Don't Know About Us. And that's it. And it's a great song.
Great song.
A lot of people didn't know it was originally by Kirsty MacColl, at least here in the U.S. And that's of course, that song that has the video that has Paul McCartney at the end in the car with her.
That? No.
Exactly. Who's that? And so it's a sad thing. One of the songs on this album is called Soho Square, and we're not going to get to it, but there is a park in Soho Square with a bench out there, and she sings in the song, about it, come see me, in the park in Soho Square on my birthday. And so on her birthday, there's a bench out there where fans go there
and gather
on her birthday to just remember her, which is a very nice tribute. Just
that is
remember
a nice
her. It's a
tribute,
very nice tribute.
And
so let's go ahead. Let's listen to another track here, and in fact, let's just go ahead and listen to the original version of They Don't Know About Us.
Great.
Here we go.
Lonely every night when I can be with you. Oh yes, you make it right, and I don't listen to the guys who say that you're bad for me, and I should turn you away, 'cause they don't know about us, and they've never heard of love.
And obviously, I know that song through Tracy Ullman, and this is my first listen. And again, I sometimes your mind can or ears can play tricks with you, but I like that as well as Tracy Ullman's, if not better. I just something about her vocal delivery. I'm very excited, and I'm going to plan on ordering that anthology today.
They're both really good versions, and Kirsty MacColl liked the Tracy Ullman version. She was glad that it did become it because she liked the song a lot. She was glad that it did become it. She released herself; it didn't become it, but it became it with Tracy Ullman. And I should mention, this is an anthology. This does include, of course, tracks from her previous releases, but it does include some rarities and unreleased tracks as well. So keep that in mind. And it's also, I think the last time I checked, it's a 2 CD set. It's bargain priced. It's well priced at like
and a great
$15.
package. $15. That's a deal.
Which is good when you're doing an anthology. So anyway, I hope more people will discover Kirsty MacColl through this anthology,
and Damon Albarn too. Both these artists are. I'm very excited for bringing that one in. You know.
And so once again, we want to thank you very much for watching the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done it so far. And please share the show with your friends on Facebook and Twitter, or anywhere else you might socially network on the internet. And also be sure to click under Show More here at YouTube, where you can link to the blog page. That'll link you to Amazon, where you can find more audio samples, listen, show your support by purchasing the music either physically or digitally. And until next time, I'm TJR. You can check out my music at tjrmusic.com and check out my solo reviews here at the channel.
And my name is Robert Kinsler, and you can read more of my work a bunch of places, but you can catch it at ocregister.com, at musicworthbuying.com, and at musicnewsnashville.com as well.
Cool. We'll see you next time.
See you later, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.